Hey guys, this is Erlene, and this is my story. The question here is, how did I know to let go of what I personally wanted to do versus what God had planned for me to do, or God wants me to do? This is something that I still feel like I pray about till this day, to be quite honest. I feel I'm a very stubborn person in a way. And I say this in the sense of unless it's a blatant no, I feel like, and this is when I say a blatant no in the sense of God revealing that to me, I kind of feel like I'm going to keep pushing forward towards what it is that I may feel like God may want me to do. So I still believe in firm prayer. That's really, really important. It's not to go by my own will. It's more so bringing my requests before God, my plans before God, and just kind of seeing and waiting on His response, whether it may be through revealing it through a word, through a person, like it could be a complete stranger, through dreams. I believe in all of those things. I had my heart set out on attending law school. And law school since then has honestly been just a passion of mine, wanting to help other people, being that voice for those who are underserved. And that was just my goal. Throughout undergrad, I was just focused on just that. And it led me to a point where I even went on to pursue further education, and I was really strategic about how I was going to do that. And with that being said, I did a 2-year program in about 10 months. Ask me how I did it, I have no idea, while maintaining a full-time job and leadership responsibilities in church and things like that. And literally, I feel like it was God's will that allowed me to be able to get through that point, but I also felt like that was God's purpose for me. And I continued and pushed forward, but I kind of burnt myself out, and I literally ended up taking a break in terms of the law school route, and I decided to venture into communications. So as far as the communication route goes, I ended up landing an awesome job with a Fortune 100 company in telecommunications. It was an awesome experience in the corporate sector. I learned a lot about myself, but I want to say 6 months in, I was tired. I was like so over it. I like literally had to pep myself up in the morning, like prep talk on the way to work to be able to get through the day for work. And I was just so not into it. I'm like, this can't be the end goal for me. I needed to go back to law. And I decided to begin studying literally the year of 2014, that January. I literally dropped everything and began the whole studying journey all over again. And I was doing that simultaneously while keeping a full-time job. And it wasn't until that same year I actually ended up taking the exam a little bit earlier than I thought, because I thought God was telling me to do so through a friend. And honestly, it ended up working out so strategic that I really thought God's hand was really on this particular journey. And I still believe that it was His plan to do so. So initially what happened was I applied for the law school for June, I feel like August, that fall of 2017. And I got in. I was like, what? Like, God, you did this? And on top of that, they gave me a scholarship. I was super like excited, like no one could tell me anything at that point, because I was just like, okay, I'm going to law school. But the thing is, it was in a different state. So that meant that I couldn't keep my job or take my job with me. So that wasn't a problem for me, because I already didn't care at that point. I was just so over it. I needed something new that I quit my job. I gave my 2 weeks notice, and I was ready to embark on a new journey in terms of law. And needless to say, the journey didn't end out the way that I thought it would. But it's interesting how God works. So in turn, I ended up along the way, while I was doing all of this law prep and everything like that, I've always done makeup along the side. Makeup was something I've always been interested in doing as more so of a hobby, and it grew into a passion, and it grew into a business and that I could, actually make money off, and people were really excited about my work, and to the point where I'm like, is really me? So it was awesome to see how other people saw the potential in me before I saw it in myself. And I also thank God for that. So needless to say, having things not work out for me, and I'm totally open in terms of being transparent about that journey, because I feel like a lot of people kind of show what the glamorous side is of things and don't necessarily talk about the struggles or while they're in the struggle. And that could be something that could help someone else who may be going through, whether it may be the same situation or not. So naturally, my thought process with everything, having to explain to, well, my parents that working wasn't working out as far as finding a 9-to-5 job, and that was a blow for me personally, because I have my master's, I have a bachelor's, and to see that I couldn't get back into the corporate sector the way that I thought I would be able to was a little bit challenging. And I think it's also a challenge for those who may be of Caribbean descent to also understand that. I think parents who are the immigrants, my parents are immigrants as well, that they may not necessarily understand the politics that goes into the corporate sector, and it's not necessarily I apply to a job and I get it. So I had to really break that down to my parents and help them to understand, but they were so supportive in terms of me doing the makeup, in terms of me doing makeup, and to the point where I literally turned my mom's living room into my beauty room. Like, I would literally push everything aside, set up my light, put out draperies and things like that, and set up my makeup station, and just to kind of offer somewhat of an experience to those who came to me. And so she would come and she'd be like, "What is going on? When are you gonna clean this up?" And I'm like, "Okay, Mom, okay, remember, this is what I'm doing as a job right now." So it took a little bit for them to kind of understand, but overall they were very supportive in everything that I've done. They're always, now it's funny because they're like, "Did you get any clients this weekend? No one called you yet?" Or, "Oh, you're busy. Oh, you gonna help me pay some bills?" And I'm like, "Okay, Mom, okay, Dad." Like, one of the other things that were hardships that people don't necessarily know is, obviously, with starting off in makeup artistry, you don't necessarily have the funds readily available to invest into things. So without having a job, it was a little bit of a struggle. I had to give up my car. I had to give up a lot of things to be able to support myself and not seem like I'm leaning on my parents, but I'm leaning on my parents. So it was an interesting journey, but I felt like it taught me to be a little bit more humble, to let other people help me, because I think that's something a lot of people in the Caribbean, who are Caribbean, understand that it's hard to just ask for a handout. It's hard to let go and let people take care of you. And that was something I wasn't used to, because ever since I was in high school, I was working and making money, So for me to be at a point where I couldn't do it for myself for a little bit, that to be able to wait and let someone do it, it's like, whoa. Well, all in all, I feel that God purposed it. He let all my bills be paid on time. Praise God for that.
Yes.
And, everything worked out effortlessly. I didn't have any medical issues. God took care of that. I was just good because God was good. I guess you could say what was the constant within my artistry, or leading me to artistry, has always been that I could spend hours watching YouTube. I just love to learn in terms of the makeup artistry, other people's tricks and tips, people's kits and stuff like that, and what they put in them. I would order books and learn things from like Kevin Aquan and AJ Crimson and Sam Fine, and DVDs and things like that. Anything that I could grab my hands on literally was what I would do to watch. And that was something I constantly did since I was working in the corporate sector, and even while I was in law school. Like, they had us create a schedule of what we would basically to be able to help us to time manage ourselves, or manage our time. And I would literally budget in YouTube time. Like, I was gonna go ahead and literally, sit down some time to be able to watch YouTube or create content for YouTube. And that's honestly, I didn't realize at this point that it would lead me to really working with celebrity makeup artists and things like that, and celebrities even. But it really just came full circle. So some advice that I would give to someone who is in the struggle where they feel like God is calling them towards something and they are passionate about something else is really to pray about it. I don't think it's a decision that you should take lightly, because you just never know what God has in store for you, and I feel like He will reveal it in many ways. Doors and opportunities may open up, and it will confirm where He's taking you. I just think that you should be open to receiving and just kind of letting go of what plans you may have for yourself, because I constantly go back to this thought, and I never understood it or really took heed to it until now. The saying about tell God what your plans are for your life, and then He'll laugh at you. Honestly, I feel like God was doing that. So I'm like, God, I'm going to be a lawyer by this point in time. I'm going to make partner, and then I'm going to get engaged, and then this. God was like, He had a whole different direction, and I'm super excited for what this year holds for me and what my future holds for me. And I just trust and know that He's going to lead me and He won't let me fall. So that's my advice. So God in my ministry of artistry. That's nice. So in terms of that, honestly, I've had, when I was going through, and I was still doing makeup, because I feel like makeup was actually my element, my escape, in terms of what was going on around me. I had one client, I did not know her from a grain of rice. I did not know her from anywhere. She just found me and asked me to do her makeup for an engagement. And what happened was, she was like sitting there in the chair, and she looked so bothered. She was just like, oh my gosh, God, like, why are you making me do this right now? Like, why are you making me do this right now? And I'm like, is she talking to me? Like, I was so like, okay, you talking to me? So she basically was saying, yeah, I'm like, really, she said she didn't know how religious I was. But she just feels like God is tugging on her heart right now, and God wants her to tell me something, and she just doesn't know how I will receive it. And I'm like, well, I'm a Christian too, and I believe in dreams. I believe in people, God using people to speak to others, to deliver a message or whatever it may be. And so I'm open to it. With that being said, I still, in my forethought is, I'm going to pray on it. I'm not just going to accept what people tell you, because you just never know the intentions behind it or the spirit behind it. So I just was bracing myself to hear what this girl was going to tell me. And she was just like, God told me to tell you to be still. She said, be still. I don't know what you're going through right now. And when I tell you, this girl doesn't know anything about my whole law school journey. She didn't know that I wasn't working. She didn't know anything outside of me just doing her makeup that day. So I literally got goosebumps, and if you guys could see this right now, I have goosebumps right now through my jacket because it just brings back that time and place where I was in my artistry, and just to hear and see how God can move. But believe I did pray on that, and I believe that that was a constant message for me throughout that year of 2015, to just be still. And I can't tell you, like, doors really opened up 2016, like the things and people that I've met, that I've come across. I'm not afraid to let people know that I am a Christian, and my views in terms of that. If I have someone who is going through something in my chair, I will not hesitate to share an encouraging word, because I feel like this is a personal time. It's a luxury, but it's also it's an intimate time, and you want that person to feel special and feel good. And if I can help in that way, if God can work through me and through the artistry of my hands, along with the heart and the spirit, I'm totally open to that. So yeah.
Hi guys, I'm behind the camera. So thank you, Arlene. Oh my God,
my pleasure.
I love her, and of course you guys know I love makeup.
Yes.
Yes. So of course Arlene will be like my first video. I'm so excited. Woo! Now hopefully I can edit this and make it look like
she's gonna have this crisp. It's gonna be crisp.
So I'm so excited that you guys are watching, and it's gonna be awesome. Leave comments, subscribe, and then go follow her on Instagram.
Thumbs her up.
What's Instagram?
My Instagram is InnerBeautyOutEL.
Yes, and then on Facebook, and her website is
Louigene Artistry.
Yes, so all of that will be in a description somewhere, and you'll find everything. So peace out.
Bye, guys.